Which are the best?
Go ahead. What? Which are the best
I was
what?
gonna say, which are the best coming of age movies that we've watched so far here on the Starter Kit?
Come on, bro. Yeah, exactly. I'm with that. Yeah. We could definitely name those. I wrote mine. I think you wrote one in there too.
Yeah,
You wrote one in here. Yeah, that's a. You can make it. You know what's crazy? I was gonna say this. You can make a case for basically all the movies, almost all the movies we've watched in
yeah.
terms of like coming of age movies. But your pick is a hilarious one because we both know how we feel about this movie, but there is a great coming of age moment in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's good. Anyway, y'all know what it is, man. Welcome back to the Pasefika Movie Starter Kit, you movie
Yeah.
nerds. I'm Oholo Marcus, man. That's Lance Falitongo. All right, we're
Hey,
the movie boys. Okay. If you're new here, check out our other reviews here on the Polytickin Network. Okay. If you want to talk sports with some Samoans, check out the Polynesian podcast with Uso right here, Lance and Coach Forrest, every Wednesday. Okay. If you want to know what's going on in the community, check out the Polyticket podcast with myself and the Uso Sefa M every Monday. If you want to support us directly, check out our Patreon, okay? Patreon.com/the Polyticket podcast, okay? You get 4 extra episodes a month. All right, so yeah, there's that, dude. Anyway, Lance,
yeah.
what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Well, what are we
Our
talking about today?
theme for this Starter Kit episode, welcome in. Thank you, everybody, for tapping in, listening in.
Come on.
Coming of age,
Yeah.
something that we've all had to go through, something a lot of us like watching these genres of movies, and definitely something that's well represented in the catalog that we've already watched here on the Pasefika Movie Starter Kit.
Mm-hmm.
So getting into some of these movies, explaining why they like connect with us so much, and giving some of our you know favorite examples of these coming of age movies and situations and characters that we've gone through on the starter kit so far.
Mm-hmm.
uh, can you explain exactly what coming of age is,
Yeah.
as far as like movie genre?
Hell yeah. So, just a little bit of backstory, right? The other filler episode that we were gonna do was grief, but it's fucking heavy. We talk about that all the time on the other show, so it's like, all right, let's hold off on that. Let's not be such sad boys today. And I thought of like I've heard of this genre coming of age, like just growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Not really knowing what it was. So I wrote out a whole list of like different filler episode themes that we can talk about for the future and stuff. And coming of age came up, and I wanted to know what it meant. And according to Wikipedia, a coming of age film is a genre of literature, theater, film, and video game that focuses on the growth of a protagonist from childhood to adulthood, or quote, coming of age. And bro, there's been a whole bunch of movies that according to that definition, that we've watched. 22, what, 23 now, 23
bro.
movies now. You know what I'm saying? And I that with that definition alone is pretty broad. You know what I'm saying? And like you can make a case for hella movies that are like
Mm,
in your personal lexicon, you know what I'm saying, of coming of age. But I think the movies that we've watched in particular are like they're the ones that we like basically voted to be the best because they
yeah.
resonate so much with us. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it's like, why is that? And it seems obvious why, but it's also it reaches something deeper in us, nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? It's relatability.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love those stories, bro. I love those on top of comedy and action, whatever. Like the coming of age story it'll be forever iconic. So I just want to talk about that today.
There's this time in our lives, in every human's life,
Hmm.
when they were a child
Yeah.
and things were not expected of you so much as they are now that you're an adult, right?
Right.
There was also an innocence. You hear that a lot, childhood innocence, right?
Hmm.
Where you're protected. This is your little world. You do your chores, you go to school, whatever. That's your world. Not realizing that the world in itself, the country, your state, wherever you live, is a lot bigger than what you grow up thinking. So,
Yeah.
in these moments, in these movies where we're seeing kids go from like, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to figure it out? And then gaining the tools, the experience to be able to be in that situation where they're like, all right, now I'm confident. I can face this problem. And I'm also at a different level in my life, right? Now I'm like responsible for things. People hold me accountable. I am accountable for things. So, and knowing that happened to each and every one of us, there was a
Hmm.
time where that switch flipped and you were now an adult, you were of age, you were expected to do certain things, and how we all navigated that. I think seeing these coming of age movies, like you said, takes us back to a certain time, right? That nostalgia, 20, 10, 15, whatever, how long it was ago for you having that innocence and that those never ending summers. You're like, this is my life, dog. You know, I'm a kid, and then transferring into adulthood. So definitely very relatable to everybody watching, and there's so many different ways, different stories you can present. So I feel like this is a great theme and a very surprisingly a wide ranging theme. Like this is it's a lot, right? It's like you think coming of age, is it like 18? Is it like you're in high school or something like that? So it's so many different stories we can think of and that we've already watched here on the starter kit. I kind of halved up the movie titles that we've seen so far, and I've got a section of movies that I don't think are coming of age, and then the ones that I do. And I want to read off some of these that I don't think are a coming of age movie that we've already watched on the starter kit, and you tell me if you're like, whoa, that could be. All right.
Let's argue. Okay, let's argue for it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So these are some of the movies on the Pasefika movie starter kit that I do not think are coming of age movies.
Okay.
All right. Dawn Raid, the documentary.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
1-4 against all odds.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Oh no, I'm tripping. No. You're right. No.
There are some younger guys, and they are showing like, actually, wait a minute,
bro. They lost their innocence like years ago. Okay, June is not nothing to play with. Okay, let's not forget about that. Okay.
All right.
They're good.
Take home pay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What we do in the shadows.
Yeah, it's like 700-800. But we also like the thing about coming of age movies that I find really interesting is like when you're an adult already, like in age, but still childish mentally, and then you finally reach a point of like understanding and maturity to where you become a better person. I love those. Like as I get older, I'm finding myself being related to those fucking. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all right, sorry, go on, bro, go on.
All right, Red, White, and Brass.
Oh, he was a teenager.
He was a teenager. Okay,
he was a teenager. He was a selfish, greedy bastard. Try to get everybody messed up, and then
And then after the government's like, "Don't you play that song?" He's like, "I'm gonna do it for the people."
Exactly. Exactly. Changes his values. Yeah. Matures by the end of the movie. Okay.
The Wind and the Reckoning.
No, because the sun. Yeah. I mean, if it was
Go-Lau's. Oh yeah, if it was about the sun,
focused on the sun, or if Go-Lau was a childish guy who didn't want to be a leader, but he was he was already a mature adult, grown man. So yeah, no, I agree.
Ole Tula Fale.
No. Oh right? Yeah, that was a big example of one that I thought wasn't one either, because Saili is already an adult. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of stature. Okay, I don't want anybody making fun of Saili ever again, bro. That fool was the realist, okay? He was the realist. Anyway, Saili, no, not a coming of age, but really good fucking movie.
That cover, that movie cover poster might be one of my favorite, where it's him with the Toto, but his shadow is like a big chief talking. I'm like, yeah, show him, bro. Yeah. That's you. All right. The Tattooist, nah. No. Get
that out of here. Next one.
But either next goal wins.
Oh, either of them?
Henry or the movie? No, right?
No.
Sionis 2.
I guess they were already adults, huh? But they were dealing with something else. They were dealing with the loss of someone close. Did they change at the end? Did they grow up at the end a little more?
I feel like 2 is not, but I definitely feel like Siona's Wedding, Part 1, Someone Wedding, was a late coming of age story. Definitely. You talk about the adults that are still childish in the mind, but then make that flip during the movie. Definitely these guys, the Duck Rockers, quack, quack.
Come on, bro. Come on. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so 1 yes, 2 no.
Okay. And then I start flipping the page to some of these movies that we've watched that I definitely think are coming of age movies that we will get into But some of them, like we said, Siona's Wedding, Boy, Taika Waititi's Boy. Oh my
Bro,
gosh, what a
yeah.
great example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moana, Disney's Moana,
Yeah.
going out there saving the village.
Mm-hmm.
The Deadlands.
The Deadlands.
The Deadlands is the kid, his
All right.
village.
I remember,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, he grows up to be yeah. No, he grows into becoming a leader after
Mhm.
his family is killed, and he has to learn to survive. Yeah.
The warrior does a lot of heavy lifting in this. Like, you gotta become a man.
That's true.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch, The Legend of Johnny Lingo, Whale Rider,
Mm-hmm.
and Three Wise Cousins.
Yeah, I can make the
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I can argue for Three Wise Cousins. Hell yeah, Adam, bro, piece of shit.
And then the first movie we ever reviewed here was Once We're Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to write that down. There's definitely some changes and stuff, but it's some like adults. There are kids there, but what do you think about that one?
Nah, I'll put it in the first list. Yeah, nah, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's a by definition coming of age film. But yeah, you're right. People do go through something after losing Grace, and there's just all the darkness that
Yeah.
happens in the movie. Like, yeah, everybody's going through something, but there's no clear transition into like maturity or understanding. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
from Beth, but that's more
Yeah.
strength. That's more strength, and she's
Yeah.
already an adult. So yeah, nah, I'll put Once We're Warriors in the first list for sure.
Nice. So, out of all of those movies, are there any personal favorites that stick out to
Oh,
you as far as like coming of age that
I
you would highlight?
bro. I mean, it has to be Boy. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
As
yep, yep.
far as out of the movies that we've watched, definitely Boy. Um, yeah, nah, uh, just something about Boy's performance, right? I don't have a lot of potential, you know what I'm saying, and just having Taika as his dad and just showing the contrast between the two and how like how Boy just built up his dad to be this freaking this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then turns out he's not him, you know what I mean, not meeting his expectations. So that like I wrote in the note that nothing makes you grow up faster than reality, right? And his reality was crumbling around him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I built you up to be this guy, and you're actually a piece of shit. Now I don't know who I am, and so now he has a new understanding. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm.
love that. I love that about that movie and movies like it.
I feel like Boy was making excuses
Mm,
for his dad. He's like, why is my dad not here? He's a good guy though, right?
yeah,
He's a master expert diver. He's a
yeah,
karate guy. He
soldier,
knows
yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
He's just busy, right? He's busy doing amazing things. That's the reason my father hasn't been here to raise me. And I live with my grandma and I take care of my, 10 cousins or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, that part too about Boy was that he was already pretty responsible,
Hmm.
right? Having to take care of all the family after his grandma left to the Falave Loving. So he's in charge already. But there is this huge realization that is about to hit him when his dirtbag dad comes back.
Yeah,
Alamein, what
yeah.
boy? Yeah, I'm your dad. All right. I was like, oh man, this guy is so nonchalant about the child you haven't seen in 6 to 8 years, whatever it
Come on,
was.
bro. Yeah.
And then seeing him in every chapter of that movie, that facade of this mythical dad, Shogun, the deer, warrior, just get chipped away, until it all comes crumbling down and he's just slapping the shit out of his dad at the end. He's like, man,
Yeah.
you left us, all that realization. It hits him and he looks like a totally changed. He's got a messed up haircut. He got a
Hmm.
totally changed like just demeanor. And
Hmm.
he's done with these childhood fantasies about a great dad. He's now in the real world where he's got to be the one that's got to be the man of this house because his dad's obviously not going to step up. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there is that end where they're all together as a family at the grave, but it's like this the man of the movie was Boy.
Yeah. 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 I really like that scene where he comes back and cleans up the house when his
Wow.
cousins are sleeping and stuff, and it's like That's a big marker of his maturity right there. Because, like you said at the beginning, he was still somewhat responsible, but he was also still a child, right?
Mhm.
A child taking care of other children. You know what I'm saying? But by the time he realizes who his dad truly is, it's like, okay, now he gets it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So to see him come home and clean up everything after being trashed by Shogun's stupid fucking ass, it's like, that's like the quintessential coming of age film, at least in the movies that we've watched for sure.
Were there any emotions that hit you watching that, or at any certain scenes? I mean, that was very emotional movie. There, the way that Taika like did some of the scenes, some of the reveals towards the end, sure, but just in watching this coming of age story, was there anything that stuck out to you?
It
Any
was
certain
de-
scenes?
it was definitely that the cleaning up, but
Mm-hmm.
it was the cleaning up and the one you mentioned already when he starts slapping Shogun at the end,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like that's when it is, or if not that, then getting caught by his homegirl in the weed field.
Or
Yeah, like, and then when they pause, they pause, and then they stare at each other, and then boy gets called, and then he has to leave. He's got all these fucking, yeah, he's got hella trees in his hands. So, yeah, there's that for sure. But just overall, I was just like, dude, what the fuck, dude? He's an adult now. By the end of the movie, he's an adult. He
the
gets it.
it shows how impressionable we are to our heroes,
Oh God,
right? Especially as
yeah.
kids. Like if you look up to somebody, I'm gonna listen to the same music. I might dress the same. I might say some of the same words, kind of talk the same slang.
Hmm.
And it's just yeah, it shows how important freaking good figures are and
Yeah,
like good examples can be.
yeah.
Because kids just want I mean, humans, young humans are so impressionable by people we consider good or
Hmm.
cool, or or that have it. So that's also another something that kind of sticks out in this genre movie is, yeah, the character starts off on one road, right, and then something changes. Maybe it's a person that comes into town, that comes into their school, that comes into their group or whatever, but
Hmm.
some new ideas are introduced, and they might be bad ideas, they might be good ideas, but a change happens, and now you've got these two different routes. Okay, here's the people that are acting the same as you were before. Here's a new thing. Here's some kind of clash that's going to happen between those. But it sets up so many different stories, not just between boy and his dad, but boy and his friends. He's treating them different, right? He's
Yeah.
treating his brother different. He's not cooking for his cousins because he's trying to drink he thinks drinking in the garage is cool, so
Hmm.
he's dropping some of his responsibilities. And you see these changes, and
Yeah.
it's good because at the beginning of all these movies you get like the baseline, right? This is what we do every day, this is what this character is, and then the change comes and you're like, oh, some things are switching up. So
Yeah.
uh yeah, just that's what hit me. Just kids are so impressionable, or people are impressionable in that age, middle school,
Straight up.
high school. So it leads to a bunch of crazy situations in these movies.
Yeah.
um
That's like the elements of like a story and a plot, right? Like you have your main character, something happens to them, and they go through a transformation, right? What sets coming of age films apart from like the formula and the story plot formula, whatever you want to call it, is the introduction of maturation, right? Like when the character matures into great understanding of who they are and the situation they're in, and they try to better themselves in it. That's when I'm like that's like the most, obviously the most motivating part for me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's another illustration of like, we are not our current circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So when I see those dramatic, like when I see a dramatic transformation and what leads to that, whether from personal conflict or whatever the conflict is for the story, like it just, I don't know, that's just something that I'll always go back to. And I feel like I can just make an argument for like all the movies like outside of the stuff that we've watched as like coming of age. Like I'll go to bat for Eight Crazy Nights, that stupid Adam Sandler movie, the Hanukkah movie.
that's
Um,
a technical
yeah,
foul.
it's a technical foul. Yeah, bro. Like I don't know,
Okay,
just
okay.
just that genre. I just love this genre of movie, bro. Like
Mm.
it's I don't know. It's timeless. And
it I feel like it also feels like we accomplished the challenge too. Like
yeah,
when we're
hell
watching the
yeah.
movie,
Like we're
it's
on the
like, oh
journey
yeah,
with
we
them,
did.
bro.
But then when they win, we're like, yeah, we did
Yeah,
it, guys.
exactly, bro. That's why like Hunt for the Wilder People is so good too. Like you're rooting for both of them to not only, make it out of their situation, not go to jail, you know what I'm saying, not get separated, but also to just survive the night. Like it's they're surviving the forest. So yeah, man. Shit. Yeah. So anyway, coming of age,
Um,
bro. You
yeah,
got
one of
any
the
what? One of the what?
yeah, I was gonna say one of the ones that sticked out to me as far as coming of age was well, first Siona's wedding, because I was like, oh, that's some old guys that need to mature and do by the end. What a
Yeah.
great tie up. That was good writing. But this is a movie we kind of panned. The Legend of Johnny Lingo,
Yeah.
and having the boy go from hated, cast out, a storm baby, an outcast,
Mm-hmm.
to the richest man in the Pacific, the guy Johnny Lingo, head of all trade out there in the ocean ways, with big land, big cows, big gold, and seeing what he had to do to go from a shipwrecked kid
Yeah.
to try to steal Johnny Lingo's stuff and take off real quick, and all the lessons that Johnny Lingo was willing to teach him so he could become the next Johnny Lingo.
Mm-hmm.
That was tough to watch the beginning of, because it was like, why are these kids getting so punked on and
Oh
hated? And
my
him and Mahana
god.
are like freaking this kindling is far too expensive. Yeah.
Bro, literally from birth, bro. Like from birth, they didn't want to take care of this fucking baby, bro. Like they just treated him like shit throughout the entire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too, man. Like that initial resentment of the
Mhm.
community. You know what I'm saying? It's like the opposite of boy. You know what I'm saying? So it's the resentment of the community that he grew up in, and then being taught like all the responsibilities of being, a respected leader. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So definitely a good coming of age movie, and instantly iconic with Mahana. What?
I hated how the people like shat on him when he was a kid, but then when he got money, they were all like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah, of course.
great
Yeah.
leader!" And that's I seen that. We see that in all kinds of movies. People showing off their fakeness and how it wasn't really a big deal. It's just you
Happens in
thought you
real
were
life
better than him.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Uh, there's this part in Wicked where Elphaba's doing like the dance by herself, but everybody, hates her. Everybody has been picking on her for months and stuff, whatever, bullying. But she's doing a freestyle dance at the Oz Dust, and everyone's like making fun of her movements and stuff, laughing, snickering. And then Galinda comes in because she feels like shit because Elphaba just got her into wizarding class,
Mm-hmm.
and starts copying the moves. And Galinda's hella popular, right? So when Galinda does it, people are like, "Oh, that's kind of fresh." And then by the end of the freaking thing, everyone's dancing, doing the moves Elphaba was doing that
Yeah.
Galinda copied, and now the whole freaking ballroom is doing a choreographed dance.
Man, y'all
And
not now y'all not real.
my stomach fucking boils every
Yeah.
time I see these people dancing. I'm like, nah, dog, stay on that side. 30
Yeah.
seconds ago, you thought this was stupid. You were laughing. Stay on that side,
Yeah.
bro. Don't get with it now. And the same thing happens in Legend of Johnny Lingo, where the freaking village kicks him out, and then they find out, oh man, this guy's rich. Bring him on in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I feel like that's a lesson that it probably isn't at the forefront, but it is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people are fake. That's
Yeah.
something you're gonna have to learn as you grow up.
Yeah, hell yeah, an element of growing up. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Don't
No
be
more
like
roast.
that.
Yeah, no more roast tinted glasses. No, none of that. Like,
Mm,
whenever you recognize that point of transformation, it's like, this definitely is a coming of age film, right? Like,
mm,
um, no matter what it is that that they go through to reach that maturity and stuff. So
mm.
yeah, bro. Yeah, all of those elements, bro. Introduce all of that, bro. People are fake. Your job hates you. Fuck. Sometimes your girl will leave you. No, I'm just kidding. Your parents die, shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a huge sadness person. You know what I'm saying? I love that too. When like, a character goes through a tremendous loss at the beginning, and then they grow up into,
Ooh.
you know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
I love those stories too. Obviously I have a little personal attachment to that. I think we all do. We've lost somebody important, so those
Mm-hmm.
stories are important to watch too. You know what I mean? Like when I was going through this coming of age stuff, bro, like I stumbled on this movie from Studio Binder, and I've been watching Studio Binder for a while. Like they focus on like the technical parts of like screenplay writing.
Is that a YouTube channel or a
Yeah, so
website?
that yeah,
YouTube.
yep, it's a YouTube channel. They do all types of stuff. They even have like access to all these like for real screenplays from like movies and stuff. I was reading the Shaun of the Dead one a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Anyway, so I stumbled on this video by Studio Binder, and it was talking about coming of age movies, but it was really just reiterating an idea. And I was telling you about this before we recorded. It was reiterating this idea from this book called Save the Cat. And I forget the name of the author, but he had passed away, I think maybe 10, 15 years ago or something. But this book is, I guess, one of like the quintessential freaking Bibles of screenplay writing, where he breaks down genres of movies and how to write the best versions of them. And when he was talking about coming of age movies, he broke them down into five types. And I thought the five types were super interesting because there's a lot of movies that fall into those types and also combinations of those types. You know what I'm saying? And those end up being the best ones. So I wanted to read these and then read the three components of what makes this a rites of passage or coming of age movie. And from this criteria, see which ones fit, from your list that you consider
Mhm.
that and stuff. So I wanted to go through it real
Nice.
quick. All right. So here's are the five types of rites of passage movies. Okay. There's the midlife, right? Like midlife crisis of adulthood. There's separation, the fallout of divorce. There's adolescent transition out of childhood. There's addiction, which is substance abuse, and then death, right? Those are the five types of rites of passage movies, and each type has three components, which is one, the life problem. The problem is one that doesn't offer any action to solve. The easy answer isn't apparent to the character. The hero will pursue a solution, but in the wrong way. And number two, which is the wrong way. Having sensed the problem, but not knowing what to do about it, the hero will inevitably flail and grasp at any solution that might help. And which leads into the third type, the third component, which is acceptance, right? Finding the solution to the problem through acceptance. And I think that's what it is. That's what it is for me is
Mm.
acceptance of who they are, of what they've been through, their journey, and learning to live with that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what really stands out to me. And I think that's what makes Boy so special to me in our list of movies that we watched as far as coming of age movies, because he has now accepted who his dad is. You know what I'm saying? He has accepted his lot in life, after
Nice.
realizing, after going through what he go through, it's that makes it so timeless to me. So I thought those were really interesting points. And by definition, like it coming of age, like you said, is very wide, it's very broad. So to see it being broken down this way, like it just opens up the whole list of movies that we can watch. That's what I'm saying. Like we can make an argument for almost any movie, but
Mhm.
with this criteria, it's like it breaks it down really well, and then seeing which ones fit where. So I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out like with this criteria, which of the movies that you said were
Mhm.
coming of age films which fit, and I think I want to say all of them fit this criteria. You know what I'm saying?
Some, at least some parts of it. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Yep.
hell yeah. Uh, I think the biggest ones that we've seen though is the adolescent rites of passage, right? The adolescent passage. Um, it's really the transition out of childhood, or it's either the adolescent or the midlife. And I think the best
Yeah.
example of the combination of that is Three Wise Cousins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Three Wise Cousins. It's like he is an adult, but he doesn't. Yeah, he's still he's like a teenager. You know what I'm saying?
He's not plastic.
Yeah, he's not.
Plastic is very useful
It's
in my
very
life.
useful.
You are not a
Very,
plastic.
yeah, it's like maybe it's not exactly midlife because he's well. It says a crisis of adulthood, so he is an adult,
Mm.
but he's still adolescent in mind. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's those I don't know, the combination of those movies or the combination of those types are what really make a good coming of age film, even one as crazy as The Legend of Johnny Lingo. You know what I'm saying? And it's yeah, I don't know.
I can see Someone wedding, Siona's wedding being similar to Three Wise Cousins, in that you
Okay,
have the
yeah.
adults that need to freaking grow up,
Boom.
right? This could
Yeah.
be this could be a late adolescence, midlife crisis as far as the types of the rites of passages. And then in components of Siona's wedding, the problem is that they mess everything up and they can't go to the wedding without girls,
Right.
right? And they try to find girls and they do it the wrong way for sure,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it starts to flip over and ties up towards the end. And then they have this acceptance of who they need to be. Stan is going with Oscar's mom, not Oscar. What's his name in the movie? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kitely.
oh no.
Albert.
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 Albert. Hey,
Albert's with
Albert.
Tanya. Freaking Michael accepts that he's a hoe.
Yeah.
Stanley is with Albert's mom. She vouches for him. Sefa gets back with Lonnie. After all of these mishaps and bumps along the way, the acceptance towards the end culminates in what I think is one of the best last 10 minutes of a movie in freaking Islander or even cinema history.
Shit.
I love the way that the Duck Rockers tie all that up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what's her name? Freaking Stan finds the girl.
Yeah, Latoya.
Latoya. Latifah.
Yeah, Latifah.
Latifah.
Yeah. Latifah.
You're not 6'6". Yeah. Just like, yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite endings. But I think that kind of has those, steps that this is talking about.
Yeah,
any other movies that might that come to mind?
Oh. Which are the ones on your list that you have? There's Boy, Hunt for the Wilder People,
Whale Rider, Moana, Deadlands, Lilo and Stitch.
Oh man, I mean ones that, because like I said, the majority of the ones like that we've watched and that we really loved, you really talk about adolescent phases. I'm trying to think of one besides the one you said was Siona's wedding as far as like adulthood, but I can't think, because that was the one that introduced me to the idea of adults maturing, right? Like without even thinking about it, like coming of age, like they are already adults in age, but they're also childish. So, nah, I think Siona's wedding, the first one, is definitely the best example of a great combination of the rites of passage. So,
and then you have, like you said, some of these movies are like multiple of these, right? Because you have the adolescence and the midlife for these guys that are late bloomers as far as mentally and how they're acting. Then you have like Whale Rider, which is adolescence, right? Because the main character is Paikea and she's growing up, she's a kid, but also the death of her mother, I think, kind of plays in there. So I feel like we have death as one of those types of movies and how they affect, the main character. I'm wondering, is that more just part of the adolescence, or do you think that also counts as, death being one of those types of movies?
I think death is a combination of it. It's not just adolescent. It's both. I hear you. You can make the point of it being the combination of the two.
Because it's in there for sure, but is it, part of the story? Yeah, I mean,
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Is it a strong part of the story, though? Maybe that's the question we need to be asking, because it doesn't focus too much on the death of her mother.
Right. It's just a foundational. It's like, this happened to this character. It's important, but then it's not, mentioned.
Yeah. It's more. It's more. Yeah. It's not that touched. It's really not talked about that much. You know what I'm saying? It's really focused on her relationship with her grandfather, with Koro, and her dad a bit, also kind of, but. Clifton, not Cliff Curtis. Yeah, Cliff Curtis.
yeah.
Also Cliff Curtis. Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. But again, I think it's because they didn't make her death a central part of the story. Only, like you said, a foundational piece of her story. You know what I'm saying? But her own personal growth isn't contingent on the death of her mother. You know what I mean? So,
or is it,
dude? I don't know. Can you?
If something life-changing happens, I mean, definitely her life would have been different if her mom hadn't passed away there.
For sure.
But I mean, that's the same thing that happens in Boy. His mom passed away during childbirth, right? So
that's true. and she kind of hangs like she hangs over the movie more than
Oh, yep, yep,
Paquet's movie.
yeah,
Paquet's mother hangs over in the
true.
Whale Rider. So I think it can make a stronger case with death being a central part of Boy's journey. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because she gets referenced a lot in his flashbacks. At the end with the grave, you know, like her the
yep, yep,
specter of
yep.
her hangs over the entire family. Like it was implied that like her death was kind of the catalyst for Shogun's decline. You know what I'm saying? And the way she died. You know, so it's like I forget. Oh, I forgot how almost gory and bloody how she died.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can definitely make the argument with death being a rite of passage
Ooh.
in Boy, bro, which
Mhm.
makes it doubly fucking crazy. Boy's number one.
Boys number
Boy's
one.
number one for sure. Wow, dude. Yeah, that's dude. I completely forgot how violent her death was, bro. So
Mm.
definitely make that fucking make that connection with those two. But Well Rider's good on its own too.
Are there any movies that we've watched here on the starter kit that would fall into the types of separation or addiction?
You know what? Even though we said no, now with this, we can make the argument for Once We're Warriors. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, 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 yep.
Maybe not so much as Jake because he doesn't evolve at all. He shit. If anything, he spirals. You know?
Have you watched the sequel to
No.
Once We're Warriors? I haven't
Uh-uh.
either, but I heard that's where Jake is supposed to like face his demons and become better. It makes
I
I
don't
don't
want
like
to
Jake.
watch. Yeah, I don't like Jake. I don't want no redemption story for him. Sometimes you just can't redeem pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? And whatever, it's a movie, it's a story, but it's just, bro. You're not gonna have me have sympathy for Jake the fucking Must. Fuck you. Fuck him. Um, but yeah, I guess we can make the argument with the Once We're Warriors because we did say that Beth does go through a transformation, but maybe it is in maturity because she was
Mm.
able to be mature enough and strong enough to finally leave that motherfucker. You know what I'm
Separate.
saying?
Yep, nice,
Yeah,
good.
separation. Yeah, exactly. So, oh yeah, okay. Maybe now we change our stance on Once We're Warriors. Maybe it is
Yeah,
one now.
nice. Yeah,
You know?
there are a lot of these that could touch on some of these different stuff. I'm trying if just because divorce or death or maturation is mentioned or part of the story, that is does that make it a small type or does that count? Because we are talking about death being a part of Paquet's story, right? Her
Right.
mom died. There's that divide between the dad and the grandfather. Um, but that's not like the part of the story, right? It's about
Right.
Paquet. Yeah, she had to start without a mom. That explains her. She's growing up with her grandfather, who ends up loving her a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and
Yeah.
then changes his mind.
Dickhead.
Yeah.
Goro, you a dickhead.
You're like, girls can't train. Get out of here. What?
But I think you
I'm the
mentioned it.
best here.
Come on, literally, I'm the best. But I think you mentioned it, bro. I think if one of those things is just a foundational part of that character and not a theme throughout or not mentioned throughout, that
Ah,
makes it
okay.
a part of the character's journey
Mm-hmm.
into maturation and
I
whatever,
see.
then maybe you know what I'm saying. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not.
I would lean maybe not, right? If it's not mentioned, over the course of the story and it's part of
Exactly.
that journey, something they have to get over or work through, then
Mm-hmm.
it was just like, okay, this happened to you earlier. Now we're figuring out the story. Okay, I
But
got
you
you.
know what? So with the movies that you said were not that you considered not coming of age with
Okay.
this criteria, is it now? Is it now? Does it have? Is it now a rite of passage movie?
Okay, well thinking about those types, right?
Mm-hmm.
Midlife, adolescence, separation, addiction, and death.
Mm.
There is some death in some of these, but not totally based on the death and how it changes the person, right? So I wouldn't say you know uh the wind and the reckoning. um
No.
yeah, what we do in the show. That's funny, we talk about maturing even if you're old.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are stunted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bro,
they're 800 years old, but they're
that's such a that's a great idea too. Like, bro, how stunted are you in maturity and growth at fucking 800
mm-hmm.
years old, bro? Okay, so what we do in the shadows? Yeah, probably not.
Ole tu la fale. is it ends with that death, right?
His
And like
wife,
this, yeah,
his
and it
wife.
makes him change, right? Because now he's like, oh, I am gonna get up. I'm tired of
Yeah,
being quiet and asking if I can do this. Is it okay if I get a title? Is it okay if I have some land? Can I please? I'm gonna get up, go get my wife's body. I'm gonna
bro.
stand up to these people. This guy that, oh, like her brother that was trying to get her back to the village. He's a high talking chief, so he's like big shit. Now I gotta like battle this dude
Bro,
on the Belife for my
bro,
wife's corpse. This and yeah, he wouldn't have done that if his wife hadn't passed.
bro. And his wife was with him through his entire, like, almost through the whole thing until she died. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she
Yeah.
supported the fuck out of him. Like, she was encouraging him to, like, hey, go and get your stuff. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, this is why I left my village. I left it for you. I love you. You know what I'm saying? I love you. That's why, bro. Oh shit! All right, move that over. Move that over. It is now a coming of age movie. Saili done went through some shit. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, bro, yeah, hell yeah. It gave him. He finally had the strength to stand up to her brother and her village.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he did. He did grow into the chief.
New
He was,
level.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
definitely, bro. Like, consider where he was at the beginning. When he
Mm-hmm.
was he was tending to his farm, and motherfucker was just encroaching on his shit. And then at the end, he's like,
Yep.
"Nah, nope, nope, fuck you, nope, this is my shit. I'm the chief now.
Yeah.
Me, look at me, look at me. I'm the
Down
chief."
here. No.
Oh,
Hey, my
Lance,
eyes are
hey,
down here.
hey, you know what I'm saying? I got a belly, bro. I can cut your legs. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah, bro. Okay, yeah, we might have to move Ole Tulafale over. Yeah, for sure, bro.
Uh,
Hey,
uh, why do you think there's so many like coming of age stories in Pasefika cinema?
oh,
Is it
damn.
like something that we know connects? Is it something
I
about where we're from or how we tell stories? What is it?
Yeah, there has to be. Yeah. What is it? Storytelling is in our blood. We've been doing it for
Sure.
years, you know, or for years, for centuries and shit. Like, that's our whole thing. Um, Probably the best stories have come from that. It's definitely relatability, you know. Uh, Fuck, that's I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what else
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
answer. You know, like, relatability goes a long way within our community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it feels like I've always felt like I've lived such a unique life. And then I talk to all of my usos. I talk to y'all. I'm like, oh, bro, we have definitely lived the same fucking life in different, like, from across the pond,
Yep.
bro.
Yep.
So yeah,
Different variables, but yeah.
yeah, still it's still the same exactly. So I think that's definitely a big part of it is relatability. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, who else knows these stories better than us?
There was when I was growing up in Carson, there was this book of Polynesian legends and myths, right?
Okay.
There's like 20 different stories. Cena and the eel, someone getting fired, probably Maui. And
Yeah.
it was also like Aesop's fables. There was a little what's the thing, lesson at the end, kind of
Right.
is supposed to teach.
Right.
I've been looking
Parable.
for that book. Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah. I've been looking for a book like that for like the last 20 years. And especially now that I have a kid and we're reading her books every night before bed, I'm like, man, we should get some of our literature in here. Let me get some
Hey.
of these stories. So
You know what I'm
she's like,
saying?
yeah, I know about Tongaloa and pulling up the islands and stuff and,
There you go.
creating the sun or however the stories were told. But I definitely want to pass those stories along. But I feel like, especially in storytelling or maybe just humanity, it's so easy to get behind a child protagonist, especially
Oh
a
yeah.
underdog
Oh,
child protagonist, because you're
come
like,
on,
oh,
bro.
this person deserves to freaking win, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily why there's so many different coming of age stories, or if it's more so just because it's easier to relate to. I don't know if it's easier to write to, like you're trying to make it something like that, but um, yeah, those stories in that book were all young people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe like adults, falling in love with the eel, cutting his head off, planting a coconut sprouts up, whatever.
Yeah.
But most of them were like lessons of kids in the village or young people that were trying to achieve things. And yeah, that was just a good example of like, oh, that could be me. I don't have to wait till I'm an adult to like go challenge these things and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
something that I feel like was just always been strong in Pacific Islander um, kind of communities.
It's
The young heroes. It's
yeah,
possible. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Moana.
Just yeah, right. Just I think just in general, like the story of the underdog, the the one who deserves it all is just it's a timeless format, bro. So it
Mm,
reaches across, it reaches everywhere. So
nice.
but
Reaches across the aisle, unites the
reaches,
people.
you know what I'm
Hey, we're the
saying?
same. We all went through some shit
But I
where we didn't know what was going on, and now we're adults.
yeah, yeah. I just again, I just really love the relatability of it, or maybe
Mhm.
maybe even lack of relatability. You know what I'm saying? Like I love seeing just someone succeed out of extraordinary circumstances. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, so it's yeah, bro. Shout out to coming of age movies, bro. Shout out. Okay, shout out to them. Do you have like a personal coming of age moment, or are you still going through a transition? Because we're in our 30s. You have a child. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
We're working adults. You know what I'm saying? But I
Mm.
have always felt like I still haven't transitioned out of like adolescence, bro. Like,
Damn it. Yeah.
like it. I feel like that every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I've had. I mean, we've definitely had our own personal coming of age moments. You know what I'm saying? Like you make the argument with my mom and dad dying. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's also little things. Like learning to be more responsible with things, with your finances, with your living
Mm.
situation, with your family, with your relationships. Like learning that, like, bro, teenage Marcus just was hanging out with all the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm at a place where I just want to hang out with certain people. You know what I'm saying? Or chill with with like I said, certain people and stuff. Like it's just the change is different. I mean the change is there. It's just
Mm.
I'm 30 years old, bro. 30 years old. What else is there? Like, am I going through a midlife crisis? Like, I've had a lot of, I guess storybook coming of age moments, but
Mm.
right now, personally, I don't know. I don't know if I have that. But what is like making me feel like I'm becoming closer or getting closer to actual coming of age is the work on the network. You know what I'm saying? The work with
Nice.
what I'm saying, like the work with the shows, the work with
Mm.
USF, like it's brought
Building
you know
step
you know
by
what I'm
step, block by block.
it's yeah, it's something about building something from the motherfucking mud that makes you want to just, grow the hell up and get your shit together. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's just this is now my personal coming of age moment where like
Nice.
this will grow into something big. Well, what about you, bro? You
So
ever come to
something younger though, like when you were in high school, that like made you lose that childhood innocence and like
oh
really like,
oh
or after high school, college.
well, okay, losing childhood innocence, definitely the death of my mother, but there was also like one incident that happened like after that. I was still in high school though, and I like I said, I hung out with some some straight junkies, dude, young ass kids, junkies, and I remember meeting one of the homies from the neighborhood. We was walking around like chiefing and shit, and I thought that was gonna be it. But then we end up chilling at a spot, and this fool. Well, before we even go to the spot to chief some more, this fool is this fool while we're walking around the neighborhood, this fool is looking for something, and I didn't know what the fuck he was looking for. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, whatever. And then he finds it. Ends up being some rubber tubing. How fucking some rubber tubing?
Maybe.
Yeah, like out of nowhere, it was just randomly on the street. I was like, oh, okay. And he picks it up. I was like, oh, this is actually perfect. I don't know what the fuck he was gonna do with it. I was like, okay, this is about to be fucking what the fuck? And so we go into the spot. It's like a forest in the neighborhood and shit, and we're chiefing. And then he pulls the tubing out, and a needle, and a spoon, and a thing, and a lighter. You know what I'm saying? Does all that. You know what I'm saying? Puts the stuff in the needle, puts it in the arm. And I was like, oh, well,
Oh, the tube was a tourniquet.
yeah, the tube was a tourniquet, bro, to get the vein out. Yeah. So I was like, at
Because
that
of
point,
the
I was,
straw.
yeah,
Nope.
like, nope. At that point, you know what I'm saying? We've obviously heard of like, drug use and shit, but like seeing that, I was just like, oh yeah, no, this isn't a game.
Wow.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not a game. Like this, no, I don't want no parts of that. Like
Mhm.
that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So even small moments like that just make you
Yeah.
realize,
Yeah.
like, yeah, just a bit of your childhood innocence is gone again.
Mhm.
As if I couldn't lose any more. after my mother dying. You know what I'm saying? And I had to watch this motherfucker shoot up
Uh,
heroin in front of me. And I'm like, all right, whatever, bro.
how
Whatever.
how old were you when your mom passed?
Jesus Christ. I was 14. I was 14 years old.
14. Man, that is that time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything will make you grow up, that should make you grow up at that age, at
Mm,
least mentally, maybe, is the death of your mother, you know?
yeah.
But hey, I wasn't mature then. I'm not that mature now.
Oh, yes. That's the other thing. It's like I feel like there have been points in my life where things have happened, but I did not come out the other side better. Like I was still like I was just like,
Bro.
oh, that's crazy that happened to me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro. Yo,
We're
shout
gonna
out to
come help
Billy
you
Mays,
now.
bro. Like, this is like, oh, okay, well, this is just my life now. I don't have, there's nothing else now. Like, bro, yeah, that's insane to think about, bro.
Mm.
And it's fucking shit, dude.
I wanted to say a big life change was
Yeah,
going
what's up?
from my parents in Carson
Mhm.
and staying out late one night playing Counter Strike at two different computer labs,
Oh,
walking home
man.
at 8 in the morning. My sister and my cousin are like, "Oh, where were you?" And being sent to American Samoa, right? But I was
Yeah.
12. I was like
Mhm.
12. I was in seventh grade when that happened. So it was like, yes, this is a big life change, but it's not changing me yet. Right. It's a
Mhm.
big wake up. It's like, oh, I'm in American Samoa now. It's a different lifestyle. It's a different
Bro.
pace,
Mhm.
different community, different people, whatever. But it was like, oh, this has just happened to me. This isn't something where I have to like think of other stuff. I was also living with my auntie and uncle and my 4 or 5 cousins. So it was like still a big family. We're doing stuff. We're getting everything moving around. So it didn't feel like I was having to go through something big. I mean, I was missing the shit out of my family, all my
Yeah.
friends and being back home in California. But uh I transferred with a like a .5 GPA
Yeah.
with 5 F's and a C and freaking I think the C was in PE. Uh so definitely turned it around, right? I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna get my ass whipped if I don't do my school stuff, so I should
Yeah.
probably do that. But like not till I feel like high school or even after high school in American Samoa, AFCC, where it was like it just felt like every level was just an extension of your childhood. Yeah, you
Oh,
graduated from
man.
elementary to high school, but now you're the little person in high school. You're trying to figure things out for 4 years. Oh,
Mhm.
you're the big dog in high school? Nah, you're the little fish at ASCC now, or if you're gonna move over. So it just felt like every time we did level up, it was like prestiging down to like the level one. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do here. Can someone hold my
Yeah.
hand and help me out?
Mhm.
Uh,
Holy shit, bro. I didn't
and then joining the army
Okay.
when I was 22 was like a definitely like a I wanted to say a wake up call now, but I think in that time it was kind of just leveling up to another level one job, right? It was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the army. This is big dog shit. This is like willing to risk my life or work a job for my country, but and make money to support my family. But it was also you start there as a private first class, you low on the totem pole, and you work your way up too. So it kind of felt like I was going through these just like hopping to another level, but not like a big step up. It was just like kind of like a those moving walkways at the airport. It's just
Yeah.
like you hop on the next one, and then whatever program this is, it's going to take you to the next program. You hop on that one. It doesn't feel like I'm moving up. It just feels like I'm moving along.
Oh,
Um,
man.
but definitely growing up and okay, this is pretty late into the episode, so I can share this. Only the
Okay.
real ones are here. No,
Okay.
no.
You got me intrigued, bro. I figured
Nah,
I'm right here.
senior year of high school, I got to go to Washington D.C. It was like one of 6 people uh in American Samoa, all
Okay.
from I forget what it was. It's like JSA, but for high school, Junior Students Association.
Okay.
So I think we were part of student government at each of the high schools, so they wanted to send us to federal government to kind of look and see how that goes.
All right.
It was a party. All right. It was
Yeah.
a week. It was a week in Washington, D.C. We went to Philadelphia. We went to New York for a couple of days. Then we flew back. When we flew back, there was a complaint that someone had called American Samoa from one of the other kids' phones and racked up like $400. in long distance charges, and they were trying to find the kid that did it. I know who it was. I forget his name. He's from Leone High School.
You know who you
Hey,
are.
Leone High School,
Hey,
president, student government, 2007. Fuck you.
hey, yeah, fuck you.
Bruh, I saw this guy on this kid's phone. He was like on his phone all the time. And I was just like, whatever. He's letting him use his phone.
Yeah.
There was like a lawsuit sent. And it
Oh
was like,
shit.
I don't know how it got, but they thought it was me. And they were like, hey,
Oh.
Lance. And then my mom had to like get involved in everything. There was like cops and not lawyers or anything. But yeah, I lost my student government job. And I was like, oh.
Oh.
Oh, this is like senior year.
Hey.
So like
Hey,
my
fuck you, bro.
you know,
Hey.
my second semester of senior year, my mom moved back from California to American Samoa. I got kicked out of student government. The second semester was just like, when is graduation? Get me the F out of here, bro. And I definitely felt like changes like, oh, this isn't fair, but you still got to work through this. So definitely trying to work and still graduate with high honors or like put myself in a good position to go to college or something like that was not really at the forefront of my mind. It was more like embarrassing. I was like, why did I get cut for something I didn't do and stuff like that? And the principal didn't believe me. I was
Man,
like, what
did
the
you
fuck?
not
It was
fussy,
like,
bro? You should have
I
fussy,
didn't
bro.
even, I never saw him again. I never saw him. He was at
Oh.
Leone. He was at a different high school.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But
Okay.
that moment for me personally in my life, I was like, okay, always have receipts. Hey,
Yeah.
get your evidence done. Have your packet.
Mm-hmm.
Because people aren't necessarily going to believe you. If some white kid says a tall brown guy from American Samoa took his phone and ran up hundreds of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, have some sort of evidence. But that was like, oh, this shit is. I know I didn't use it, right? Because
Yeah.
I was trying to talk to this Alaska girl for like 4 or 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And she was there. She was with me. I didn't have to call her back home or anything.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's right, player.
so it was like maddening, frustrating, and then realizing, it's just not fair,
Yeah.
right? So you got to be ready to kind of
Was that
move
your
around.
big like life is unfair moment?
I think
Life
so.
is
I think so for sure.
unfair.
Like still, like not totally throwing away the possibility that things can be good
Mm-hmm.
for us or other people, but it's not necessarily always going to be good. Like it could be people don't want to look for the evidence. It could be people are getting the wrong evidence, don't trust it, something else. But it's not always going to come out a-okay 100%.
Yeah.
Just be able to kind of back yourself. But then as far as like the maturing is becoming cynical. Is that maturation? Because I'm like, I don't trust none of this stuff.
Hey.
I'm gonna look up everything. I'm gonna
Hey.
research.
Hey, everybody's maturation process is different. You know what I'm saying? We all mature differently. That's all. You know what I mean? I'm not the biggest optimist in the room either, bro. I'm a big cynic myself, so
Yeah.
I completely understand.
I just want to say, if you know who the president was at Leone High School in 2007 and you see him, go ahead and give him an elbow check for me.
Yeah.
In the ribs.
Yeah, let's go hit him up at the Fade Factory, bro. Go right there at Signal Hill, bro. Calling you out for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But those are some of my personal coming of age moments.
I know, sorry. We unloaded a lot on y'all. We're sorry. But also, thank you for listening, man. We appreciate y'all. I think that's why we love coming of age movies so much, because it just shows us where we're at in our journey. So it's like we want to root for this hero on the fucking screen because, goddamn it, we want to be that fucking hero too. We are also the underdog in our own story.
Yes.
Okay, we're still fighting the journey. That's why we love you coming of age films. Okay, goddamn.
What do we want the listeners to hit us up with? Their favorite coming of age movies or moments?
Yeah, all of that, man. If you want to get personal like us, bro, tell us your own personal. You know what I'm saying? We won't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? We won't tell nobody. We won't tell nobody, bro. Just go ahead and tell us. If not your own personal, man, let us know what your favorite coming of age movies are. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You got anything else for him, bro? I think we're good.
Nah, that was great.
Yeah, hell yeah, it was, man. We appreciate y'all again for listening, man. Again, check us out on the Polytickin Network everywhere, brother. Okay, we got the Polytickin podcast, we got the Pasefika movie starter kit, and we got the Polynesian podcast. Okay, if you want to support the
Ooh,
show directly, patreon.com/the Polytickin podcast. Okay, you know what it is. All right. If nothing else, bro, we appreciate y'all again. So, bye.
peace.